Welcome to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. Here are the stories that we're following today, July 24th, 2013. From the Caribbean, in Guyana, opposition walks out for money laundering committee over Ramuta's terrorism remark. In Barbados, government's motion fails 10-9. In the Dominican Republic, judge defends a decision to grant bail to men on drug charges. And in Antigua and Barbuda, government's failure to pay causes Mount St. John's Medical Center money woes. Details on these headlines and more when we return.
Since we announced Sign and Drive with zero out of pocket and low monthly payments, cars been flying out of Bronx Honda at a record pace. Whoa! New Accord with zero out of pocket for $249 a month, or new Civics just $199 per month, or save thousands with 0% financing. You never had to leave the Bronx to get the best price on the Honda. Bronx Honda guarantees the lowest price in the Bronx. Bronx Honda, East Tremont Avenue. Visit BronxHonda.com.
Welcome back to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. This segment of the news is sponsored by Amros Travel. In Guyana, although Alliance for Change leader Kemraj Ramjatan walked out of a parliamentary select committee to protest President Donald Ramuta's description of the opposition as terrorists, the opposition will not be withdrawing permanently. Carl Greenidge, who is representing a partnership of national unity on the select committee that is examining amendments to financial crimes legislation, said the opposition decided to register its strong objection to Ramuta's description. The president has labeled the opposition's voting down of a bill and a motion tied to the $840 million Amela Falls hydropower project an act of terrorism. That description on Monday prompted Ramjatan to walk out of the Parliamentary Select Committee that is considering amendments to the 2009 Anti-Money Laundering and Countering of Financing of Terrorism Act. And I quote, "It was at this point that I, Ramjatan, made an intervention arguing that since the committee was preparing legislation to catch terrorists and prevent their financing, and since the president would have to send the legislation for it to become law, then it was most regrettable and repugnant that I, as a terrorist, should continue to be an author of this anti-terrorist law. I then walked out of the meeting saying, as I did so, that I will not participate further until the president retracts his description of myself and all the opposition parliamentarians as a terrorist," said Ramjatan. But APNU's Greenidge says the opposition will return to the committee at the next meeting. And I quote, "I don't think we have sought to do anything other than register a protest at the most inappropriate behavior on behalf of a president who claims to be asking our assistance on something of national interest," he said. In Barbados, government yesterday lost by 10 votes to 9 a motion to take 2 senior parliamentarians before Parliament's Committee of Privileges over statements published after the opposition's walkout last week. The motion was triggered by the concerns about an article appearing in the Midweek Nation of July 17, in which leader of the opposition, Maya Motley, and MP for St. James East Central, Kerry Simmons, questioned a ruling made by Speaker Michael Carrington. Members of Parliament for Christ Church East Central and Minister of Education, Ronald Jones, raised the subject on a point of privilege and said he believed the matter should be referred to the Committee of Privileges for its consideration. In response, Speaker Carrington said the matter had been brought to his attention and he was surprised when he read the story. He added, and I quote, "A cursory glance at the article, for instance, would suggest that I, as Speaker, was engaged in some plot to conspire with the government to create a circus of distraction from the people's real problems in this country." End of quote. In the Dominican Republic, High Court Judge Bernie Stevenson has defended her decision to grant bail to 4 men, including 2 government employees, on drugs-related charges. And I quote, "If a magistrate in the lower judiciary refuses bail, every person is entitled under law to approach the High Court for bail. Bail is granted in the High Court based on principles of law, not to slap any police officer in the face or to slap any magistrate in the face, not to make a joke of any system," she said at the end of the criminal assizes there on Monday. Last weekend, the High Court has granted $150,000 EC dollars bail each to the four men: Garneth Jolly, 46, Orlando Moyes, 30, Francis Moyes, 26, and 26-year-old bus driver Clinton Harriet, after they were charged with possession of 30,000 grams of cocaine and possession with intent to supply. The authorities said the drugs had a street value of $801,000 EC dollars. The men, who are due to reappear in court on October 10th, had earlier been denied bail in the magistrate court, and the decision to grant bail by the High Court led to intense debate on the various social media websites. But Justice Stevenson said most bail applications have been based on the consent of the prosecution, who are trained lawyers over and above the police prosecutors, who may not necessarily have the appreciation to the finer and in-depth points of law as the lawyers do. As a condition of bail, the men are to report to a police station 3 times a week and surrender all travel documents. They are also to stay away from any port of exit on the island and have no contact with anyone associated with the case. In Antigua and Barbuda, communications manager of Mount St. John's Medical Center said a lack of payments to the hospital from the government is causing significant challenges to its operations. Salma Crump said government and the medical benefits scheme by agreement should pay millions to the hospital on a monthly basis. She added, and I quote, "You hear the Minister of Finance talking about significant challenges from the government standpoint. I think any other organization that depends on the government to some extent would feel some of that," Crump said. The spokesperson said one of the hospital's operations affected by the cash flow problems includes payroll obligations. It was reported in both January and February that the medical center was unable to meet its fortnightly wages on time. The communications manager said purchasing capital equipment and providing services have also been affected. And I quote, "Sometimes we may cut back on some services on an outpatient basis only," she said. Crump pointed out that the hospital's other expenses, including the proper maintenance of the equipment and the building and property. You are watching Caribbean Affiliate News. We will be right back.
I can't believe your mom let you take your car out. This is awesome.
It's time to grow.
You're crazy.
Little while
Go faster. Stop.
it'll all be alright.
I raised my son to be careful,
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, Mom.
but just to be safe,
So don't you worry.
I got a Subaru.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Coleman Subaru, 1710 North Alden Avenue, Ewing, New Jersey, or colemansubaru.com.
Laverman say it's all about the food. August the 10th. Foreigners welcome to the land of oil dung. Beers and strong rum, girls hot and can done. It's all about the food. Oil Dung Fest, August 10th. Laverman, I'm in the place.